Hey there, this is Moriah, the wife of the Revolting Man, and we haven't spoken for a while, but I figured it was time. This is going to be a response to a response to a response to a response, or something like that, maybe that many. So if anybody missed, the Revolting Man made a live stream response to a guy's video that we watched that was about mutual submission, egalitarianism. And so this guy then put the Revolting Man's video on his Facebook page, and there was lots of comments, and they were all very negative. Of course, they were all followers of this guy, and so they're all very negative, and some of them were very personal to me. So I figured it was, you know, a good opportunity to respond to those personal criticisms. And while I was thinking about it, I thought, well, okay, maybe I'll just do a general, like, you know, misconceptions of a wife in a biblical patriarchal marriage. And then I ran across this one comment, which I thought was perfect to go on. I could make a whole video just based on this one comment. This was a reply to a thread that there was only 3 people in it. There was the one main post who said something about feeling sorry for this guy's wife, and then I had posted like, yeah, she should totally divorce him or something like that, you know, just being snarky. And I don't know if this woman realized who I was at all. She might not have, but then she posted this comment. I'm gonna go ahead and read it, and then we'll go through it. And this woman's name is Casey Isles. She says, "I don't know one woman who believes in headship, patriarchal theology, that is healthy and has a deep relationship with the Father. By the theology, they are second-class citizens, not trusted or good enough to have been born with a penis, so they can reflect the image of God." Wink face. "Forever subject to the whims of men in their lives, boys in their lives, because they are inherently not spiritual or good enough to teach what they have learned or make decisions." Well, Casey Isles, you've given me such great material to make a video with. Thank you so much. Okay, let's start off with, I don't know one woman who believes in headship, patriarchal theology that is healthy. I would disagree with this comment 100%. All of the women that I have met that do believe in headship and patriarchal theology have been some of the most pleasant women to be around. Absolutely comfortable in their own skin, completely into, and this goes on, and she talks about this in a second, and has a deep relationship with the Father. This is a touchy subject for me a little bit because of the whole relationship aspect, but I'll go there in a second. But healthy, I want to focus in on healthy. I'm not sure how Miss Isles defines this, or in what way she's referring to this, if she's referring to physically or spiritually or whatnot, but I would say that I was pretty healthy. So, I mean, there's one. So, anyways, I don't know how much, this is just a pretty ridiculous statement to make. I don't know one woman who believes in headship. She must not know very many women who believe in headship. I don't know. But the women I've met have been pretty darn healthy, happy and secure, and just gems to be around. Absolute gems. And on the flip side, the women who do not believe in, who are egalitarians or whatever, are miserable to be around. All they want to do is complain about their husbands and henpeck and all that. So anyways, and then you know, flout, is that the right word? Their deep spiritual connection with God. And you know, if you're nagging your husband one second and then saying, you know, praying and whatnot the next, and sorry, I'm not gonna buy that. I'm not gonna believe that. This whole relationship with the Father thing is a little bit of a red flag for me, because I grew up in a Pentecostal church, which it was a really big push on this whole notion of relationship, which I don't doubt that, you know, is something real. I just don't think that we actually know what it means. I think we look at it with human eyes. A relationship, and, you know, we've got to spend 30 minutes a day in prayer and reading and all this stuff, which, and, you know, as an adult, the second time around when I've come back to God and try to figure out what he means by this, most of the time I see the word obedience there with, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. So, this is kind of more along the lines of what I think the Father wants out of our relationship. So anyways, this whole notion is kind of a red flag for me. So I'm going to just go ahead and say, these women who I've seen that do not believe in headship, typically portray that they have this close relationship with the Father. But if you're talking about following biblical principles, then I would say that they're way off base, and it's probably all in their heads, that they're like talking to themselves and feeling some kind of strong emotions that their conscience is making up for. I don't know. It just gets a little icky in there, a little mucky, because I think emotions can be very deceiving. Okay, let's go on. By the theology, they are second-class citizens, not trusted or good enough to have been born with a penis so they can reflect the image of God. Okay, by the theology, they are second-class citizens. And I've talked about this before. I absolutely do not feel like a second-class citizen. Uh-oh. I'm losing power, my battery. Okay, gotta do this quick. So because my husband values me and trusts me to have children with me and raise those children up and have almost complete 100% time with them, there's no other person that's going to be influencing them as much as me. Probably him on, the spiritual aspect in a lot of ways. But as far as this one-on-one time, that's me. So do I feel like a second-class citizen? Absolutely not. I am just as important, if not more, than whatever. End of story. He trusts me with finances. He trusts me with our family's nutrition. He trusts me with our family's education. There is this is huge. And then it goes on, by the theology, they are second-class citizens, not trusted or good enough. So, he absolutely trusts me. So I don't know who feels not trusted or good enough to... This whole sentence is so whack. Or good enough to have been born with a penis so they can reflect the image of God. Well, Miss Isles, anybody who reads can start right there at the beginning with Genesis and read that God created them in his image, male and female. So this whole statement, I don't know where that comes from and what stereotype you're glomming onto, but it's obviously not true. Anyways, we'll just go on. Forever subject to the whims of men in their lives, boys in their lives. Now, and I'm not sure if she's meaning that the men act like boys in their lives, or if they're subject to men and boys in their lives. But let me just go ahead and clarify. Okay, sorry about that. Technical difficulties here. Whew, let's get through this. So there are some sects, SECTS, of religious communities that the men do control other things in the community other than their own wives, which is totally unbiblical, and we do not follow that at all. We don't believe in that. The only man that I answer to is my husband. That's it. There's only one man that in patriarchy that would be considered my head. That doesn't make any sense. The men, forever subject to the whims of men in their lives, boys in their lives, because they are inherently not spiritual or good enough to teach what they have learned or make decisions. Well, this is just so much in here that it's hard to break it down phrase by phrase. Run-on sentences, I guess, is what I want to say. Forever subject to the whims of men in their lives, boys in their lives, because they are inherently not spiritual or good enough. Okay, so inherently not spiritual. I don't know where that stereotype comes from, because I don't see that in the Bible at all. I think, on the other hand, that women do have a strong connection to the spiritual realm. And I think that's what makes women so dangerous, because either if you're under God's hierarchy in order, in line, then you're powerful. You are a powerful spiritual being. But if you're not, if you're outside of his order, then you're also a powerful spiritual being, but for the other side. You see what I'm saying? So you can either be really great and really powerful for God, or you can be really powerful for the enemy, and that's apparent in the scriptures. I mean, you have women that do both. I mean, you've got, you know, Delilah, and you've got Eve, and you've got Solomon's wives, and you've got all kinds of evil women. I mean, but to say that they're not inherently not spiritual, I don't know where that comes from at all. Because that, to me, I don't see that in the scripture. I don't know where that stereotype would have arisen. But it's obviously, it's bunk. And then they're not good enough to teach what they have learned. Well, that's ridiculous, because it's a command in Titus, isn't it? That I would have the aged women to teach the younger women. I mean, obviously, women can teach other women. And obviously, women are teaching their children at home. So this whole good enough to teach what they have learned, she's just talking about teach men. Well, what the heck do I have to teach a man about? What in the world would a woman have to teach a man about? We have completely different sets of expectations that God has set. We have different roles. We'd have different rules. What would I have anything to teach a man? I mean, that to me is astounding, that women would even want to teach men. About what? For what? How to breathe during labor? I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. Okay, or to make or good enough to teach what they have learned or make decisions. Well, you know what? I make decisions all day long. Decisions for our family and the decisions that will affect our family. I decide if I'm going to, you know, teach the kids today, or if I'm going to let them run around and be animals. I mean, I make these decisions all day long, every day. So don't tell me that women in a patriarchal marriage don't make decisions. This is ridiculous. What you're talking about is, do I make decisions like over my husband's head or against my husband, or somehow win out when we're deciding something? Well, I don't understand how egalitarian marriages work, because there always has to be a winner. There has to be somebody that's finally going to get their way. I mean, if two people are arguing about something and they're not coming to an agreement, which, you know, ideally, yeah, you say, hey, honey, this is what I would like to do. What would you like to do? And oh, well, okay, well, I didn't really want to do that, but we can do that because you want to do that. And like, so it's this whole working together thing. Well, sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you have two strong-willed people and they're going to butt heads. They're going to have a battle of wills. One will has to win. There's no way to get anything done if it doesn't. Either somebody is going to have to bow out, you know, and bend their will, or they're gonna have to separate. I mean, this is just common sense. Somebody has to win, and you know, this is what this woman is talking about. They're not spiritual or good enough to teach what they have learned or make decisions. Well, no, I'm not gonna go and try to force my will on my husband. I'm just gonna say, you know what? Yeah, and you know what? This is a perfect example of how a woman in a godly marriage demonstrates Christ. Because what did Christ do? Did he say, no, I don't really want to go on the cross right now, God, and you know, I'm probably just gonna wait it out and see how like it goes from here. Well, no, he said, not my will. But you know, if it's your will, like I don't really want to do this right now, but not my will, but yours be done. And so that's exactly the model that we follow as wives. Not my will, but yours be done. You know, if there's some kind of contention, there's some kind of battle, you know what? I don't know why, I don't understand it, but not my will, yours be done. And you know where that, I mean, you know where that brings us? That brings us to a peaceful home. And there's proof all throughout Scripture of all the blessings that can come from living this lifestyle this way, God's way, patriarchy. I mean, I don't understand how these type of people can be reading the same book. You know, all throughout Scripture, I see this ideal being reinforced over and over and over and over again. I mean, it's everywhere. and throughout. So anyways, I just wanted to take more than a few minutes now to refute some of these stereotypes, some of these myths that I'm not even sure where they come from, but they certainly don't come from the Bible, and we're certainly not living that way. So maybe I'll start a series. I don't know, that would be kind of fun. But hey, at least, you know, thank David Wilber, we got some material to make videos with now. And Casey Isles, and all the rest of the wonderful people that felt so bad for me. Oh, I feel so bad for his wife. Okay, y'all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.